Hi, kindergarten and first grade. Okay, so this week we are gonna build on texture. I hope you said that's how it feels. Okay, so first we're gonna go on a texture scavenger hunt. So you're gonna need just a printer paper, or if you have like a piece of paper that there's nothing on the back of, you can use that. But what I want you to do is I want you to fold it. Now it's gonna be, we can do maybe 8, but you don't have to fill up all 8. So it'd probably be the easiest if we just fold it in half. So take the short side to the short side. Do this over here. And then once you have short side to short side, you're going to do short side to short side again. And just line up those corners. I'm gonna press them down. They don't have to be perfect, okay? And then, uh-oh, mine got a little wild. And then one more time, just again, maybe the shorter side to the shorter side. And while I finish up this fold, so in art, texture there's 2 different ways of looking at texture. You can see texture that you can actually feel, and you can feel the texture of it, or you can look at it and you can see the texture. So those words are actual texture and implied texture, okay? So actual texture means you can actually feel it. Implied means you want the viewer to see the texture. So here's what you're gonna do for your scavenger hunt. You've got your paper. Like I said, we don't really need 8. There's 8 different sections, but if you could find about 6, that would be awesome. You will also need a crayon. Now we need to, take the paper off of our crayon, and then you're going to use it not standing up and coloring with it, but we're going to lay it down flat on our paper, okay? And then we're going to rub. So since I already have my lovely basket here, you're gonna go around and you can go outside if it's warm. If not, put a jacket on and make sure you have permission to go outside. Or you can go around the house. It was really cold today and I kept waiting for it to get warmer, and that didn't happen. So I just went and found some items in the house. And so you can just hold your item like so, and you hold your crayon and then just rub. It's a little tricky. In some textures you may say, wait a second, that is not the way I wanted it to look. Let me hold it flat and see if I can get it better. It may not work for me. You may find that some textures just aren't gonna work, so I can't use that one. Oh, I found a leaf. So I can take my leaf, I'm gonna have to lay it flat on my table, but see what I do, I'm just putting it on the back, laying my crayon sideways, giving it a little rub, and I'm sure you've probably done something like this before, a leaf rubbing. And so now there is the texture of the leaf, and you can actually see this leaf has some color in it too. So, all right, and I can keep looking. I grabbed this because the actual texture is really soft, but I don't know if that will show up. So let me see. I'm gonna lay this one on one, give it a rub. And you know what? It is not showing up. So here's the bottom of a shoe. And again, all I do is I lay it down. I use my crayon to rub, and I go from actual texture to implied texture. Okay, so you keep going around and searching for different types of textures. And again, we're looking for actual that you can feel, and then it creates a implied texture. Once you have gone around and found 6 to 8 different textures you like, you can have mom or dad video that or take a picture of that and send that in to me. And then we are going to move into our texture creatures, okay? And so stay tuned. I'm going to grab my supplies and meet you right back here, and we'll create those together. Okay, our texture monsters. You're either going to have an actual texture or we're gonna have an implied texture. So I'm gonna do both. I I'm gonna first just draw a simple upside down U, and then just give my monster hair, or not hair, but eyes or antenna or legs. I always think a good monster with legs, with skinny legs, is funny. So, so now I want to show you how to cut up some of these things. If you want little spikes, like I was thinking I might add a spiky texture, I could glue these on, okay? But to make these, all you have to do is kind of cut at an angle and just go back and forth, back and forth. Don't go too fast. This is great fine motor skills. I think I had some kind of like the body shape, U shapes. I have two together because it just makes it easier to cut two at once instead of cutting one at a time. And then do it again. And you could use, this is kind of big for mine, but I could even use something like this for my monster's texture. Or I could use even these. These are kind of cool, kind of like a scaly texture. I might even make those smaller. Another one, seeing that we're making things, I'm making things a little big. Let's see. Could do kind of a spike one. Fill my monster up with those actual textures. Now, to get the actual texture, like I said, I would just glue these on. But to get the implied texture, I would need to lay these underneath. So I think I'm gonna save those and okay, and our last one, I'm going to do actual texture. Now remember, you do not have to make two. I was just trying to show you two different ways to make your textured monster. So I cut some of these, like I showed you how to do earlier, and now I'm just gonna glue them to my monster. right, so you can do actual texture or implied texture. All right, I can't wait to see yours.